На протяжении 8 лет идет война. И идет она непонятно за что.
Мы не понимаем, за что воюет наше государство.
Russian military bloggers recognize that the Russian army's offensive in Donbass, which has already cost Russia huge losses, has worn out the Russian military and they are tired of fighting. In addition, none of them understands what this war is still being fought for. Such a confession was made the other day by acting Russian military officer Sviatoslav Golikov, who gave an interview to Igor Girkin's wife Miroslava Regenskaya.
Скажу, возможно, непопулярное. А у нас армия устала. Она очень устала. Я мог бы произнести не совсем цензурное слово, ну, скажем так, устала. Это и мобилизованные. Это и контрактники, которые внезапно в 22 году обнаружили себя на бессрочных контрактах.
Undoubtedly, the Ukrainian army is also tired, but here we see that the Russian invaders are tired of fighting. Literally the very ones who bravely shouted how they would reach Odessa, Kiev, Lviv, and seize all of Ukraine. After they were kicked in the teeth and received a decent response from the Ukrainians, we see that the enthusiasm has diminished. And no one is particularly eager to go not only to Kiev or Lviv, but even to Odessa. Not that they don't want to, but they realize that they can't. They simply cannot take it. And although all these war propagandists, such as Oleg Tsarev or Tatiana Munchyan in a telegram, purely in a telegram, continue to shout cheerfully that it is necessary to fight until the end, until victory, until we destroy and capture all of Ukraine. Well, that is, it is clear, yes, to infinity, since Russia has no such forces, yes, there are no such resources. But these occupiers who are actually in the trenches, i.e., active military men like Sviatoslav Golikov, they directly recognize that Russia does not have the forces for this. Everybody is tired. And most importantly, yes, the same Z bloggers are saying that the Russian military doesn't understand why this war is going on at all. That is, they have been fighting for years, but they themselves do not understand why.
Действительно, вот вы правильно сказали, люди устали на протяжении 10 лет. 10 лет. Я просто помню слова своего отца, погибшего, Царство Небесное. Он говорит, я очень сильно устал. У меня уже нет сил. Я на протяжении мира 8 лет, я воюю, отца нет уже 2 года. На протяжении 8 лет идет война. И идет она непонятно за что.
This is what Igor Girkin's wife Miroslava Regenskaya says. And if she says so, she doesn't understand what this war is for, although she is the wife of the man who is the ideologist of this war and who started this war. We remember Strelkov's words, yes, his confession that I pulled the trigger of the war, he talked about it, yes, in 2014 in Slavyansk he started it all. And she, the wife of this Strelkov, says that she does not understand what the war is for. Then that means only one thing, that this war is meaningless, no righteous ideas there and some, well, lofty goals, at least, yes. That is, if Strelkov's wife doesn't understand what the war is for, then the Russian military, well, the bulk of them, yes, this whole mass of people who are fighting, these hundreds of thousands of people, they all the more don't understand what the war is for, why they are fighting. And if they don't understand it, it means only one thing, that they are not fighting for the right thing. Because, well, a man who is fighting for an idea, he knows exactly what he is fighting for. He can tell it without a hitch, and he can motivate someone. Yes, come with me, let's fight together. And if a person does not understand what he is fighting for, he is definitely not fighting for a right thing, that is, he fights either as a mercenary for money or because he enjoys robbing and killing, but definitely not for any lofty goals.
За что мы все боремся? За что?
Скажем так, у нас есть, ну, насколько я понимаю, какое-то свое внутреннее понимание, за что. Но мы не понимаем, за что воюет наше государство. Мы этих целей не понимаем.
Acting Russian military officer Sviatoslav Golikov also admits that the Russian military does not understand the purpose of the SMO and does not understand, in fact, what their country is fighting for. In fact, they go to Ukraine to kill Ukrainians, they go to a foreign country to kill its citizens, simply because they were ordered to do so by a 672-year-old grandpa who had something shaved into his head. So he ordered them, that's it, special military operation, let's go to kill, and they just went, no questions asked, yeah, well, like zombies. Because, well, they themselves admit that if they do not understand the goals and objectives of this war, it is obvious that this war cannot be fair for them. Because in the fair war, the goals are always clear. No one asks the question, oh, what is the goal, what are we fighting for? Well, look at Ukraine. Here no one asks what the purpose of the war is. Everyone here understands it. We have one main goal of the war, to survive, yes, to save our country from destruction, and to save ourselves, to save our people. Because Russian propaganda openly says that Russia's goal is to destroy Ukrainian statehood, to destroy Ukrainians, to eliminate even the very definition of Ukrainians. Russian deputies of the State Duma have said this openly, and they talk about it directly on state TV channels. So everything is clear there. And the goal of Ukraine, the goal of Ukrainians in this war is simply to survive, to defend themselves, because everyone understands that where Russia reaches, there will be either Bucha, or Izium, or in the best case, I emphasize, in the best case, yes, there will be Mariupol, where Russia simply threw the local residents out of their apartments, out of their houses, demolished them, and now in place of their houses they are building houses for themselves. And people, homeless people, are constantly writing down appeals to Putin, asking him to help them. Oh, Father Tsar, help, they took away our apartments, we got Russian passports here, we love Russia, we were waiting for Russia, how can you do this to us, and nobody cares about them? That is, at best you will be made homeless and thrown out, as in Mariupol. At worst, there will be nothing, there will be no people left, yes, you will simply be destroyed, annihilated. Well, in some Bakhmut nobody comes out with any posters there, nobody asks for any apartments there, because there is nothing there at all, there are no people. So the Ukrainians understand well what they are fighting for, while the Russians, as we can see, themselves admit that they do not understand their goals. In Russia, even the war bloggers do not understand what the war is about, and the war bloggers are practically modern political instructors, they should have known, and they admit that they do not understand. And Strelkova's wife doesn't understand what the war is about, and since everyone doesn't understand what the goals are, it's unclear what their state is fighting for, and how can they then claim that they are fighting for a righteous deed? Well, if you don't know what you are fighting for, how can you prove that your cause is right? Those who fight for justice, they always know what they are fighting for, they can easily articulate, they can easily tell. And if you can't tell, you don't know what the war is for, then you are not for justice, your cause is definitely not right. And these Russians, in fact, they realize, I think, deep down, yes, they realize that the truth is not on their side, yes, they realize it. That's why they say that nobody understands what the war is about. No, you do understand, I think you understand what the war is for, who needs it, why. It's just that, well, they are ashamed to admit that we are aggressors, we came to rob Ukraine, yes, we came to Ukraine to fight for Kharkiv, so that Kharkiv would get the Ilyich plant in Mariupol, and he would saw it up for scrap metal and take it away. We came to Ukraine so that some Russian oligarchs would steal, seize Ukrainian land and sow their wheat there, take away Ukrainian farmers' combine harvesters, yes, and then export this wheat, sell it and earn profits. We came there to rob Ukrainian pensioners from Mariupol, ordinary residents, from whom we took away their apartments and now we are building houses for ourselves in place of their houses. We came to maraud there, yes, they can't say it, they are even afraid to admit it to themselves, that's why they say, oh, nobody understands the purpose of the war, and how come, and for what, and how come, that is, they pretend to be fools, but in fact it is clear to everyone, to them and to us, that their cause is not right, but the truth is on the side of the Ukrainians, who unlike the Russians can easily explain what Ukraine is fighting for. Subscribe to the channel, friends.